feels like one of those things, Melvin, where we should be waking up right about now. The bottles are still in our hands. Tim's missing.
Oh my god, Tim's missing.
Tim's missing. I can't find him. I tried calling his phone and everything.
What about Andrew?
What about Andrew? Well, he's in the trunk of the car naked right about now, and I don't want to go get him. I don't want a little Asian man jumping at my head.
Yeah, you don't want a little Asian man behind you either, do you?
Yeah, man. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Off the Chess Podcast. This is the review for the Hangover 3. The grand finale to it all. Now, a lot of people have been kind of... So far, this movie, it's been getting a little bit of mixed reception all out, but, we're going to get into that a little bit, but I'll start off with the whole premise thing. So this movie begins in current time where Alan, obviously, it's always Alan.
Mm-hmm.
He buys a giraffe and he severs the giraffe's head on a highway, and causing the highway to close down. And these events cause his father to have a heart attack, and now everyone's really worried about Alan. He hasn't been on his medication
For 6 months.
6 months, and simultaneously while all this is happening, Charles escaped from prison, and now there are these other guys. This guy called Marshall, who's now looking for the money that Charles stole from him, and he finds out about the wolf pack and now uses the wolf pack to get down Chow.
That's a good summary. That's everything. Yeah.
That's and when you kind of say that's everything, no, that is everything.
That is everything.
There's not much else to it. But Melvin, how'd you feel about this?
Alright, so this movie stepped up from number 2 for a million reasons. A, they didn't do the same, basic follow the plot from number 1 to number 2 and reference same jokes and hopefully it works. No, they used a different film, This time they did not actually get a hangover, they didn't get massively wasted and get a hangover. It wasn't so dumb that they would do it a third time.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. They referenced the first film and a bit of the second film, which is also really, really well done. I think, surprisingly, this movie does reference its previous films really well.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the one thing, though, is that it's all based on Alan.
Yeah. See, through this entire movie, it's all based on Zach Galifianakis. Yeah, you got Bradley Cooper, you got Ed Helms, and just poor Justin Bartha getting taken again. But this is a very heavily based film on Zach Galifianakis' Alan character, and through the mix of all this, you get a lot less of Bradley Cooper and Ed Helms. Like, their charm isn't so much in the movie. Yeah, they're there in every single shot, but they're basically like, wait, what's happening? I don't get it. Whereas, like, when you watch the first film, it's like they were kind of more actively involved in everything. But I got a bit of a problem with Mr. Chow.
Mr. Chow?
Coming back into this. Because for me, personally, I feel like too much Chow in this movie. That's how I feel. It's like, he's crowbarred into everything. I mean, just think about his character in the first one. He was like not minor, but he wasn't so much of a big part of the story. He comes in the end of the second act. He's a part of the third act, and then he's gone. And then in the second movie, he's in the first act and final act.
Yep.
Then in this one, he's through the fucking thing.
Yeah, it's Chow Fest.
How'd you feel about this Chow Fest?
Okay, here's the thing. The reason the Hangover movies did so well, and I reckon the reason the first one did so well, is because everyone really liked all the antics that Alan and Chow got up to,
Yeah.
Whenever there was something funny happening, it either involved Alan or Chow, to be honest. Let's be real about it. But what I think they thought is that that's all the audience wanted.
Yeah.
What they didn't realize is that we actually enjoy seeing Bradley Cooper and Ed Helms' reactions to the situations they're put in,
Yeah.
They just thought, okay, give Alan some antics to do, kill a hit. And yeah, it was funny, but it was just a little bit of an overload of crazy.
Yeah.
You need something to stabilize it a bit. And they did try and give Alan some really stable scenes, but it just did not come off well.
It didn't blend well when he was and like this entire story is supposed to be Alan going to like a mental institution to help him calm down and everything like that. And there's a part in this movie where he meets an actress. I forget her name. Sorry, guys.
She's in freaking everything right now. We really should know her name.
Yeah, she's in Melissa McCarthy.
Miss McCarthy, yeah.
Yeah. So he meets up with her at a pawn shop, but it's like she's the chick version of Alan. And this entire story is trying to base off the premise that he's got to calm down and everything like that. But it's kind of like when crazy meets crazy, what's going to happen? And for me personally, I felt like for this entire movie to have this arc for this character, only to end up with the person that's most like him, how is he really evolving? That part really fell apart for me there.
Yeah.
Just in terms of that. And to really just base this entire arc of a movie for this trilogy, in fact, all based on that, and for the notion that, okay, like, he doesn't even go to his, like, mental institution thing in Arizona. That they completely negate that fact.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 months later, he's getting married.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about John Goodman in this? He played Marshall.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I liked his role. You needed someone to be the villain, because everyone's become a little attached to Chow. He's that crazy uncle you keep in the basement. So you couldn't kill off Chow. He couldn't be your main antagonist. Someone had to be, the bigger one. And yeah, sorry, what's his name again?
John Goodman.
John Goodman. I called bad calling John Marshall. But yeah, John Goodman he was a great, great villain.
He's in everything now as
is.
well. He was in Argo. He's in this new Google movie thing coming up. And there was obviously they bring back Justin Bartha and he gets taken. They bring back Black Doug. One of the things I like about this is there's a part when Black Doug is kind of explaining everything and John Goodman's there and he's saying that the chain of events that have occurred when Black Doug fucked up there's this cool sequence shot where it goes back to the first film and then sidebars off a little bit. When the second movie came out, it wasn't so much referencing the first one as it was a copy and paste.
Yeah.
Control Find Vegas replaced with Bangkok. And this one, they really do dial back the references and they do it in a way which is lesser and you get more of a different story. And one thing I did like is, there is no hangover. And until Melvin and I's favorite scene of this movie.
Yeah, they have a mid-credit scene where they actually have a hangover.
End of credit, yeah.
No, it's mid-credit.
Oh, yeah.
Because they start running some names.
Mid at end of credit, yeah.
Yeah. And pretty much, that's when the actual hangover occurs. They like they said, like Rakesh said, it ends with Alan's wedding. So pretty much after wedding hangover. And it is insane. So Phil wakes up with a wedding dress.
Yeah.
And he's next to Alan and his wife.
Yeah. Melissa McCarthy, and those two are sleeping together. Then you hear Stu giggling because he's in ladies' panties.
And here's the thing, when Stu's off scene and he's coming in that there's going to be something special. Like, something always happens to him. The tooth, the tattoo. And this time...
They give him a pair of titties. Big old titties.
I don't know how it happened, but somehow during the wedding, he got a boob job.
And it was freaking hilarious.
Funniest part of the film.
And it was also funny to see, like, just how does somebody get boobs like that without seeing any surgical stuff on him?
And, like, how much, like, he was all happy. He's like, oh, look, it's insane. I'm in ladies' underwear. And then they're like, dude, you have boobs.
Yeah.
And he freaks the fuck out.
And it cuts off again.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, then you see Chow come in.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you see Chow come in.
Because they're all like, how did you get drunk? How did we get screwed over? It's like, oh, wait, Chow got me the wedding cake. That's how they got spiked and all. And then Chow comes in naked with a bottle of booze in his hand.
And a samurai sword.
Yeah, and when I say naked, I mean you see everything.
Just like in the first one, just like in the second one, you see everything.
That dude's way too comfortable with his body.
I know, it's really creepy. I'm kind of uncomfortable, Melvin, wearing shorts around you. But yeah, this movie had it was much darker. It was a much darker film compared to the other two. I didn't really expect it to go down that way, but then again, I'm happy for it. I'm happy for it going down that route.
I guess. Look, to me, like you said, like it was darker. So the highs were high and the lows were low. But the lows all involved Alan, and it was just really weird acting.
It was. It wasn't that good of acting. Like, why not give the lows to Bradley Cooper or Ed Helms? Like, we know they can act.
You know they can act, and like their characters have the low scenes. Like, you don't expect Alan's character to have such low scenes, you know?
Yeah.
And if he did, it would be more stupid. It wouldn't be actual revelations.
Yeah. Just thinking back to that first Hangover. When we first saw that first Hangover, there was never any implication that Alan was actually, like, on meds or I don't know if they do mention that he was on meds or not, but like he never seemed that retarded. He kind of seemed like, yeah, he was a little bit quirky, and he made a. Okay, yeah, admittedly, buying the fake drugs, it was the big fuck up, but like everything apart from that, he didn't seem like that crazy, that out of control. And it wasn't until these two sequels, where it's like they went fucking rampant with this character. Yeah. I'm out of things to say, Melvin.
Same. I'm pretty much done.
Ratings time. You guys, you know how it works. 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Melvin, what you give this?
I'm giving this movie a... Okay, so pretty much throughout the film, I felt it was a bit of a... It was a 5, but a finale kind of gave it a 6-ish feel. And then right at the end with the bonus scene, it was an ultimate point up. I couldn't help it. I know I gave a 7 for my last rating, but this one's going to have to be a 7 as well, because it's the magic number. It's good, it's well done sequel, and I enjoyed it, and it was hilarious. Hilarious at certain parts. It was minimal, but the parts that were funny were funny.
This movie really does take itself into a different spot where it becomes a dark action thriller. Yeah. I never saw that coming, but like the Hangovers kind of have that thriller element to them throughout all three. And for them to kind of bring it back and bring it in such a dark spot, I kind of enjoyed. This movie isn't perfect. There are flaws. I don't want to get too much into that and all, but sorry. But, you know, overall, despite what all the critics and everything are saying, like right now on Rotten Tomatoes, this is at a 21%. On IMDb, it's on 7 out of 10. But guess what? My rating is also a 7 out of 10. I didn't really like the arc that happened with Alan. I would have liked... Too much Chow can be a bad thing.
Too much Chow can be a definite bad thing.
Yeah, and not enough Bradley Cooper can also be a very bad thing. But like even the scene when Heather Graham's brought back, she's like...
It's very tamed.
Yeah, it's very tamed. This movie feels a lot more tamed than the first one and the second one.
Yeah, like that's how I feel. Like the lows are low and the highs are high.
Yeah, like especially with the second one, they're like, okay, if there's anything we can do different, it's like up the raunchiness.
Yeah. Whereas
this one, yeah, it's a very unbalanced film. But overall, I liked it. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. YouTube.com/Off the Chest Podcast. You can find us on our Facebook page, same name. Thanks for listening.